G'day folks, it's Rob here, and in today's video we're going to be chatting about water and water security on the farm and a few of the hassles that we're having at the moment. So to begin with, I thought we'd chat about dams on the property. Now there's only 4 at the front here, but apparently there's anywhere up to about 13. A lot of them are leaky, meaning that the water slowly leaks out of them after a large rain event. So we're just going to be focusing on these today. We'll look at the others down the track. But out the front here we basically have 4. We have a small one there, a very deep one there, a not so deep one here that has some plumbing in it, and a large dam which is just under 7 meg that the last owner actually made recently. Now all these dams were put in by the owner, and we're going to run through a couple of the issues that we have with them that we can see, Bianca and I. A few folks who are watching this on our Aquaponics YouTube channel, just a quick heads up, these videos won't be posted here forever. It will revert back to an aquaponics only channel and backyard farming. All the farm content will be over on our Bits Out the Back homestead channel. So as soon as we finish the purchase and all that sort of thing, that's where the farm content will be. So if you want to keep in touch with us there, all you have to do is jump on over using the link in the description or one that pops up here and subscribe and hit that notification bell, and all should be hunky-dory and you'll get notifications when videos are posted there. Yes, magpies, they will. So anyway, that's enough of me yabbering on. Back to the main video. So we're standing on the dam wall of the large dam. I thought we'd start here. And as you can see, there's not a lot of water in it at the moment. Apparently at the last large rain event they had, this dam was breached and it washed away. Now just to show you the actual level, it does look, the erosion on that side is rather bad, something we're going to have to address. But the dam level actually isn't that deep. It is, the spillway is just up here, which is one of the issues we'll have. So a dam is only as deep as its spillway. So we're looking at, that's about the highest spot there in the spillway. It doesn't fill all the way to the top of the dam wall. It doesn't hold quite as much as you can see here. In fact, I think you can probably make out that line over there on the far bank. That's as deep as it ever got to. As I said, it washed away twice. I did quiz the owner on how this was built. I'm no dam building expert. I've done a couple of permaculture courses and earthworks were discussed pretty in depth in one of them. And one of the first things you have to do is key in the dam wall, depending on how you can make it. You can also cover the inside with a clay if you don't have enough clay. But the idea is to key it into the ground. So you have a trench with clay material that goes all the way across the dam wall, and then that just helps make it basically watertight. So I'm not too sure if this dam wall or the previous ones were ever keyed in, and that may have been the issue with them. The other issue that I see here is we have the spillway coming down this way here through just around a bit of a bend basically, and then runs the full length of the dam wall down into the gully just down over there. So in a large rain event, this is going to be washing out material from the top side, which is the dam wall, which could pose a problem down the track. So this dam here, I'm thinking we're going to have a professional out here just to have a bit of a look at it. My thoughts on it were actually to not worry so much about that spillway there, but over on this other side, probably round about there, dig out the material from on top and put a drain pipe through so water can collect in the drain away from the dam wall so it won't cause any turbulence there, and it can send it through to the other side, which is the natural water flow for this little area anyway. As you can see, there's a little bit of a dam there and there's one further down, and well, it's more like a leaky dam. It doesn't hold water all year round. And right next to us here, we actually have another one. This one here apparently holds quite a bit of water and for a fair amount of time, but it's just a natural occurrence that was sort of created when, they made the track here, and this track goes all the way down to the little beach area on the creek further down. This dam here, while it's rather large, I don't think it's going to be spectacularly deep. Because you can see the grass growing in it already. It's going to be fairly shallow, but it will hold a fair volume of water, and it is something I think we really do need a professional to come and have a look at so we can try and work out the best way to avoid this from failing for a third time. So just on the other side of the dam again, and as you can see we do have a few spots where it is eroding because the water flow into the dam itself it's just too steep. and it's taking out the very sandy soil from the top bank. There's a couple of little gullies here, and there's a larger one over here. So this is something else that needs to be addressed. So the water inflow from the top side of the dams comes down from the house, and as it's a fairly gentle slope into the first 3 dams, there's not quite that much erosion, unlike the newer dam where we can see the walls are starting to be washed away on both sides. So you can see that there's erosion on that bank as well, and due to the water coming down from that little timbered area up there. And over here, there is a big washout. Someone actually said that it looked like a cave. It's not actually a cave. It's unfortunately just where all the water, you might be able to make out how the land goes down like that and then down like that. So it's creating a bit of a gutter down through there, and that is, eroded that bank out quite a way. I'd say probably close to around about 15 foot backwards from where it originally started off. Now, as a result, a lot of the material that's been coming down there has been filling up the dam, along with the tyres. Tyres. So while there are still a few little deep spots like this, a lot of that material from down in here, I take it, was originally once up in those dam walls in the paddocks themselves. So Bianca and I, we're trying to work out ways we can actually slow the water as it's collected down there, slow it down, at least to begin with, before we can work out a more substantial and probably expensive fix for this erosion here, or maybe direct it using swales or contours or something so it enters into the dam in a more gentle way. But this, yeah, you can see the rise up there, and all that water is flowing down over this wall here and eroding more as we go. Now, the next issue is the inflow into the dam from the previous one. So it's a bit of a twofold issue. So we have a lot of erosion here. It's actually washed out a little bit underground down there. So the water is coming down over the ground, falling down there and causing issues. Those rocks down in there are part of this dam wall from this other dam. This dam here, it's not as deep as the others, as you can tell, that we'll look at in a minute, as you can tell by the amount of lilies running into it. So it will be fairly shallow around the side, and also over there where that tree is, where the cormorants like to hang out. This is the dam that they pump the water up to the house from. There's a little pipe arrangement over there. It just comes out here on a float, and they pump it up to a couple of header tanks at behind the house. Might be able to make them out just up there, past the house there. This dam here, while it's not the deepest, this is the one they were pumping from. So it appears to be healthy. There's bird life coming down to feed on the fish. A few people have said that maybe we should try and get rid of those pied cormorants. I think there was a greater cormorant there the other day, so I'm not too sure about that. As long as, you know, they're all part of the ecosystem, we'll let them go for now, as long as we don't end up with a flock of them. But this dam, yeah, the other issue we have with this dam is at the other end. So I also take it that this dam wall was made using a lot of rocks to begin with, and then just had fill put over the top just to make it watertight. Again, I'm not sure if this is keyed in correctly or what, but their last owners put it in. One issue I am having is they've used a lot of tyres to stem erosion. So, you know, a lot of people have different opinions about tyres, but personally I don't want them in the waterways. I don't even think you really should be growing food out of them, but that's just my own personal opinion. So yeah, there's a little bit of a sediment build up here as well, just past the rocks that has occurred from all the washout from down here. Not only that, but a lot of the water entering this side of the dam would be coming from this side up here. So it's washing down over the top of this and into the dam. And you can see there's a bit of a natural depression just down in there. So that would be taking water from that side of the rise there and funneling it down here into this dam. So that's a lot more gentle slope. One of the issues that we will be fixing, that we saw is very prevalent over here, is the fact that these were used as stock watering holes. You might be able to see all the footprints or pugging down in there. I can't because the phone camera is very glary, but they used to let the cattle come right up to the water's edge to drink. We're going to set up, once we get a bit of rain and things turn green, we're going to set up some water troughs away from the dams, run it by solar pumps, and that will keep the cattle hydrated, trying to basically keep these dams as pristine as possible. Hey Jack! Well, that's an issue with all the dams, but this dam wall needs another spillway as well. And again, I'm thinking either a pipe through over there behind that tree, which is one of the deepest spots of this dam here, and then have it flow out into the dam itself a little way out, something along those lines, sort of like the road culverts that you see. We don't need a large diameter pipe, I don't think, but just a nice little culvert pipe just to send the water through with a bit of grating to stop it from getting clogged. The other option I can see for this area here is something that I saw on the Tim Thompson YouTube channel. Check him out, an Aussie farmer, is actually an educator, and he's been highlighting concrete mats. So that is something I think we could possibly set up there, run across here, which would also allow us to have a roadway here still, and then have it in a nice little channel, and then have the concrete mats go all the way down to the edge of the water down there, and we can do away with all this stuff here. And the concrete mats slow the water, plus they also trap a lot of sediment, which means potentially we could seed grass in there or something along those lines to try and stabilize the soil that is in those concrete mats. So that's another option. I'm not sure if that would be a good option for down there, but that's something we could look at down the road. So the first issue with this dam here is, like the others, it has no dedicated spillway, and the water is just left to rush across this area here, which is slowly eroding. And oh look, there's 2 more tyres that have been tossed in there. So yeah, in Australia you've got to pay to get rid of your second-hand tyres, so truck tyres are a bit expensive, so I'd say that's why they've been used. So they've been used there as a bit of erosion mitigation, and you can see where we've got a bit of sediment collection down there as it's been washing through. This dam here is fed from this watershed looking up this way, as well as from that little rise over the driveway. So we'll just go and look at where this water comes through from. So on the flow into that dam we also have some more tyres to slow down the flow, so they've got to come out, and we've got to set up something a little bit more suitable, maybe some rocks or something along those lines. So as you can see, there's a little bit of a rise on the other side of the road there. That is our property line fence there, and this is the neighbours, I think. Actually, or that might be the property post there. We haven't quite worked that out yet, but a lot of the water is being collected from up in that direction, comes down here, collects in a little depression on the other side of the road, and then flows over the top of the road when it fills up, because there is no pipe underneath the road. So this is definitely something we're going to fix. We're going to get a culvert just popped in there, one with the nice concrete flashing on either side to help stop erosion, so we can get the water directed through here and down into the creek, over the top of the tyres, which we will take out, and try and create some sort of water slowing area here. So a lot of rocks and debris that takes out a lot of the velocity, and then hopefully get it into that dam without too much erosion. So, and again, like the other dams, we need to set up some sort of a fence here. In fact, we're thinking that could come in handy with some of the cell grazing we want to do, because we could effectively just fence off on one side here and on the other, and fence off potentially a little alley between the two with a single gate, and then we can have that as one paddock for grazing. And this front area here probably have as 3 or 4 areas. It goes over behind those trees, and in fact there's a lot of grazing underneath those trees over there. So yeah, they're just all thoughts at the moment, aren't they, Jack? Oh, Jack's off again. Just all thoughts at the moment. We've only had the property 2 weeks, so definitely something got to think about though, and that is water security. Now we'll trundle back up to the house, and we'll talk about the water storage up there. Just to let you know, we do have a well, or what we call a bore here in Australia, on the property as well. It goes down round about 10 meters. I did a quick investigation on it the other day, and I couldn't feel any water sloshing around down the bottom or hear it when I was trying to get the pump out, but I basically ran out of time. So that is something we'll investigate in another video down the track. So we're back up at the house, and I thought we'd continue with the dam theme. What we have here is two 5,000 litre tanks, so 10,000 litres all up. And these tanks receive water from that dam down the bottom there. Generally it's pumped up with a firefighting pump. We're looking at a little diesel one, and it pretty much all comes up and flows directly into this tank here. And the two tanks are joined by that coupling at the bottom. Now you might be able to make out that we have a slight issue here with the tank that's closest to us. It's on a bit of a lean and it's sinking into the ground on this side here. I don't know if it's because the chickens and guinea fowls were using it as a dust bath previously, but yeah, it's something that needs our attention. Luckily it doesn't receive a lot of water from the roof. It collects water from this roof here, this smaller shed. And when those two larger tanks overflow, it runs into this gutter and of course into these two tanks as well. But yeah, I don't think we're going to have to worry about that for the time being. So not only do we have a leaning tank there, but we also have another issue, and that is when we purchased the property, we had water up to the top of the second rung there. And I've only used it to clean off some bits and pieces and to water the chooks. So we've used nowhere near, well over 1,000 litres, probably close to 2,000 litres worth of water between the two tanks. And they are bone dry. I came out this morning and there is no water. Now, this place here has water running everywhere. To begin with, the pump that drives it is this one here. Now this pump supplies water to all the stock areas. There's no spriggets around the house or taps around the house for whatever reason, but it goes out to all the animal areas and garden areas. So to begin with, we have a riser here with a little garden hose that's just for around the shed use. Then we have this black line poly pipe that goes down under the ground. It looks like about 32 mil or 1.25 inches. And we do have the first tap junction here, but all we've got coming up is just a normal 20 mil or 3/4 inch hose from the ground. So it's coming up here, and this little split here is sending off water to all the areas around the garden. I've worked out pretty much where they've gone, but I dare say another line runs down that way towards the old piggery. So this pig area consists of a couple of larger paddocks and a couple of smaller little penned-in areas. You can see they've left the little enclosures here. I think she ran anywhere up to about half a dozen breeding sows at a time. And this is the little farrowing shed, I think she said. But every paddock has one, if not two, taps down here. So we have one here and we have another one further down. And then we have more all the way down this laneway. There's one there, and there's a couple more right down the back there. And on this side as well, we have one hose bib there, or spriget tap, whatever you want to call it. One there, one down the back corner, and a couple up the side there. So there is a lot of water running underground, and the leak could be anywhere. It really would have been nice to have some sort of isolation to keep this side of things separate, so we could at least just run the gardens as they are. So it's something I'm going to have to look into. What I'll probably do is dig up that line to the garden tap and isolate that. And then we'll work out what we're going to do with this piggery area later. Bianca's idea, just on paper at the moment, is to create the chook pen and the gardens down here so we can see them from the house. They're not hidden by the shed, and we can monitor what's going on down in there. And that little structure there, which was the little shade house for the piggies, we're actually thinking about turning that into a communal sitting area down the track. So something we've got in mind. But yeah, we've got a lot of tidying up to do before we even do that. The shed full of not hitchhiker accommodation, freezers, chest freezers in there. So folks, bought a farm in the country in the middle of nowhere. There's fridges and freezers everywhere. Not connected to power, so I'll open them one by one. Take a deep breath. Nothing.
Oh, she's empty. That's right.
This one over here.
Jesus, scared me.
Are they boxes?
Oh,
no, that's the base. That's the base. Sure? Yeah, it's just paper over the base. It doesn't smell.
No, that's OnePlus.
Oh yeah, last one. Oh,
Poison.
Pour on beef and dairy. So it's some sort of cattle dip. And there is, so just medicines.
Oh, so maybe this was plugged in.
Yeah, maybe it was at one time. There's no PowerPoints over there. Now, rainwater from the house. It is pretty much all collected off all the gutters bar one. It's a little bit too low to join in, so he didn't do it. Something we'll be fixing. And then runs from there all the way across to two large 25,000 litre plus, so 50,000 litres all up rainwater tanks. And it did have a first flush diverter connected to the tree there. Now, in a storm the other night, we basically lost the downpipe. I have a feeling what happened is the first flush diverter, because there was no hole in the bottom to let the water leak out, was very heavy. The connectors on the tree themselves looked to be rusted out, and they gave way. Not only that, the wire that was holding it up to the tree, just like these sections of wire down here, it snapped as well. So we ended up losing the pipe, and it is there on the ground. So we are going to rebuild this for the time being, pretty much all the same way as it was set up by the original owners, with a first flush diverter there, and that will be collecting the water for the house. Now, I did mention in the other video previously that we will be getting the water tested. A lot of people say, you know, there's nothing wrong with tank water. It did, you know, us no harm. Yeah, well, I was the same as a kid growing up. We had a good idea what went into the tank, and once we found a floating frog that fell apart when we tried to pick it out, yeah, we decided to flush the tanks and get town water brought in and monitor the screen on top a lot better. Unfortunately, there are no screens on the top of these tanks. The pipes just go directly into the tank, so that's something I think I would like to fix, some sort of a debris screen on top, because you don't know if frogs are coming in from the gutter, traveling along the pipe and then plopping into the tank and just rotting out. I've also known folks who have bought properties and the old owners said the rainwater tank was fine, and whether they have sensitive city bellies or not, they got a little bit of a gastro reaction to the tank water. So we would like to have it tested first just to see what's in there and then take appropriate action. Last thing we want to do is end up crook because of our own drinking water. So that is something we really need to do. Now, we did have a little bit of rain not last night, the night before. Had a big storm come through, but it missed us, so I stuck an angle on there and then popped it down into this IBC, and that's all the rain we got, or water we collected. A lot of it blew away because it was a thunderstorm. That needs to be fixed. Waiting for Bianca to be up, to come up to give me a hand for that. I think it's a two-person job. Now, when I posted that pic, a lot of people said, well, the first flush diverter should really be from the gutters. As you can see, it's a long way up there. So yeah, there's no first flush diverter up there. It will have to be on the tree, and I'm going to make it a little bit better. So basically the bottom hole isn't clogged up with a split pin. The water can flow out of there, and then we can unscrew the cap. That cap had actually seized on there. So yeah, the first flow diverter will stay where it is for the time being. Other people have suggested having the pipe work come down, bury under the ground. There's probably about a metre or 3 foot in difference from there to the base of the tree, and then we need the pipe to come up and then over into the tank. Totally doable. The tank is under the level of the house, but Bianca and I have greater plans for this place. So we think what we're going to do is go with what was here to begin with, maybe create an aqueduct sort of an effect, have a couple more posts holding it in place, and then another one over here before the tank, enough room still for the cars and trucks to drive through underneath, and then have it going into there. And then once, you know, we've been here for a while and we work out what we actually want to do with the place, whether we're going to keep the house as it is or maybe pop another house in somewhere else, we'll just have to wait and see. It's something, everything's still up in the air. It's that old permaculture idea of you really need to live in a place for a full season, full 12 months or rotation of the seasons before you make any big you know, changes to the way the things are done. And for me, digging that under there right now is a little bit of folly, because we're actually thinking about doing more major earthworks back here. So we might be able to move the tanks down closer to the house where they should be, and then just use the pump directly from the tanks up into the house. Make the plumbing a heck of a lot easier. And yeah, so something, yeah, you know, we've got a couple of ideas we're playing around with. So as water is one of the key ingredients to life, we really do need to sort out the guttering from the house to the tank and get that water tested as well. Not only that, get that firefighter pump down here so we can pump up into those tanks after we work out what's wrong with them. So they're the first bits and pieces we need to work on. And then after that, after we become a bit more financial, we will look at getting someone who's experienced in not only earthworks, dam building and that sort of thing, directing the flow, but also permaculture and regenerative farming, just to add, you know, that little bit of knowledge base to the design we want down here at the front. We're fairly sure we know what we want, but yeah, it also pays to get the opinion of a professional, someone who's seen more sites than this one here, and we definitely need to fix that gutter under the road out the front. And if you do want to find out what happens with the house tank and the earthworks down here, all you need to do is hit that subscribe button down there and then pound on the bell icon, and fingers crossed YouTube will send you notifications once that happens. And also too, don't forget there is that link to the Tim Thompson concrete drainage pads as well. There will be a bit of a playlist. I think he's got a playlist or a link at least down in the description if you want to suss that out. But I will pretty much leave it there for now. I do hope that you've enjoyed this video and the previous ones, and we will catch you next time. Cheers folks, and have a top one. Don't think they like Jack.